Hi, welcome back. It's Libby. It's the 6th of February 2021 and I'm in my kitchen. I'm halfway kind of prepped up for the stir fry that I'm going to make tonight. So I don't want to have too long a video for you, so you can quickly sort of make this yourself. So what I've got ready is I've got my tofu ready, which I prepared at lunchtime. This has been marinated in the jackfruit marinade that I actually had the day yesterday. So I've used it to marinate. I've just taken it out, so it's quite a lot there. That's half a block of tofu. The tofu costs about £2, so that's a pound's worth of tofu. I'm only going to use half of that. So it's really, really nutritious, but it's really cheap. So what I will do, because this is marinated, I don't really want to eat it tomorrow, so I will freeze it. So I freeze half of that, freeze this really, really well. I've got the marinade there all ready to go. I've got the bean sprouts and some lentils and a little bit of sunflower seeds. All the sprouting seeds that I sprouted about a week ago. So they're all ready to go. They've got the little tails on. So they're bean sprouts. So like you would get bean sprouts, but they're mung bean sprouts. So they're exactly what we normally have. So I've got everything ready, and I've got in the pan, I've started already to take a little bit of time. So in the pan, I actually cooked I put some sunflower oil in, and I put in ginger and a little bit of garlic, chopped up very finely. And then I added the onion. I let that cook for about 2 minutes. And then I've added all of the lovely veg. Okay, so in here, I've got fennel, I've got sweet peppers, I've got some onion, courgettes, green peppers, basically quite a lot of veg, a bit of cabbage. So I'm going to put this back on the hob, and I'm going to just let that start to cook. So that's just getting up really nice and hot. I've got some things off my garden this afternoon. I got some oriental greens, I grew, you can see them. I grew these for the winter. They've done really well. I have a lot of those for salad. While that's busy doing its stuff, I will show you what I've got here. So I went out to my garden, and when we went into lockdown, I actually put 4 raised beds in the back of my garden. So I've actually got lots and lots of veg. And here I've got quite a lot of veg that I've grown. So I've got watercress, the oriental greens. I've got some red oak leaf lettuce. I've got some Paris Island lettuce there. And these are all recommended to grow through the winter. And I've got a whole load there. That's all winter salad. So I won't have to buy any salad this week. I've already got some from last time. And because it's forecast snow, I kind of thought, I'll get out there today and just basically make sure that I can get some veg rather than when it's snowing. So also here, I got lots more. So I've got some Swiss chard, I've got some beetroot, little tiny beetroot, baby beetroot. I've got some kale, I've got some more kale here. And underneath there, I've got a little bit of cabbage. So I've got quite a lot still growing in the winter. So if you've never grown veg, have a go. I'd never grown veg, apart from probably like a little bit of kale and a bit of Swiss chard, but nothing like I've done this year. So it's been really, really useful, especially when we was in lockdown. We couldn't get a lot of veg, and I didn't want to go out to the shops. So here, this is cooking nicely, sweating down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off the hob, and I'm just going to move it over. Let me just film, I'm going to show you that in a minute. So I'm going to move it over to one side. Kind of got this a bit back to front because I was going to cook the tofu first in the wok and then add the veg, but I didn't. The reason I didn't was because the camera had a bit of an issue again, so this is like the second take. That's why I've got all the veg all ready to go. So I'm going to put a little bit of oil, a tiny bit of oil, in this other frying pan. This is quite a heavy frying pan, so it might take a little bit of time to warm up. While that's warming, I will explain a little bit what's in here and what's in this pan here. So in this pan here, I've actually got some spelt noodles. You know, they're spelt. They're actually not noodles, they're tagliatelle, because I ran out of noodles. So because I'm on this 28, can't buy anything, this was my alternative to my noodles. So that's fine. That's how's this doing. I'm going to check on that in a minute. But anyway, what I've got in here are all the veggie peelings from the things that I cooked in the big wok. So I've got onions, I've got green peppers, I've got a bit of courgette, got some carrot peelings, I've got a bay leaf, I've topped up with water, and I've got some herbs in there and some black pepper. And what I'll do is I'll actually boil this up, and then I'm going to let it come to boil, and then I'll simmer it for 20 minutes, and that'll make me a stock. From that stock, I'm going to make a soup. I'm going to make a soup with the watercress, because I found a whole load of watercress on the garden, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to use that up. Okay, so this is cooking nicely now. So I'm going to put in half of this tofu. Okay. So that's about half. It's probably slightly more than half. And I'm just going to let this fry. So this is going to go quite crispy. Yeah, it's on quite a high heat. So I'm just going to let this, with a bit of patience, let this cook. So when this is all nice and crispy, I will put this wok back on this hob here, add the tofu to the veg, and then I'm going to add a few of the mung beans. I'll put these in kind of last because they don't really need a lot of heat. I kind of like these a little bit more crispy. You might not do, so you can actually put them in when you cook the veg. In the meantime, what I've got the marinade that the tofu was in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of corn flour to that stock. Just a little bit, probably half a tablespoon. It's infused in water. Just going to let it infuse a bit. And then I'm just going to pour half of this into the marinade. I might need a bit more. I might need a bit of water as well. So this is going to make like a little bit of a sauce. So this will be quite tasty, and then I can add it all together. So this tofu is starting to crisp up a little bit now. Okay, you need to, as I say, I should have put it in the wok first of all, but we can do it this way, it's absolutely fine. You can't see anything anyway, so you can just have to listen to the sizzles. I'm going to have a drink of my kombucha. Cheers. I don't think I have a video for kombucha, and I make kombucha very regularly. It's best made sort of when it's warmer, but it's very, very delicious. It's actually a fermented tea. So it's a fermented tea, and it's just lovely. It's made with green tea, sugar, water, and then you put kombucha from a previous batch, and you basically let it ferment with what's called a SCOBY on the top, and that's like a big culture, a bit like it looks a bit like rubbery. It's not very pleasant to look at, but it makes the most delicious drink. I've been making it for about 6 years now, and again I'll go back to the time when I lived in the Caribbean. They used to have a raw food chef there, and I was really into raw food at that point. And I basically let me move this off so I can see the knobs, turn it up a little bit. Yeah, so when I was in the Caribbean, I really got into raw food, and we had a raw food chef on the complex. So basically he showed me how to make kombucha. So when I got home, I started making it for myself. I'd never made it before. You buy the kombucha SCOBY off the internet, and then it gives you the directions to make it. I have done fermented workshops in the past when we were allowed to. So hopefully, you never know, in the coming months, we might get to a point where we can do that. I'm going to transfer that over there and put that there as well. That's a really heavy saucepan. I've been digging out some of my old pots and pans, because I knew I'd got a wok somewhere, and it's not one that I use very often. So what I've done, I've got quite a lot of veg in here, and I'm just going to bring it over to the camera, and you can see the lovely, beautiful rainbow. It's amazing. And I'm going to put in some of my mung beans now. As I say, I like them quite crunchy, so I'm not going to, you know what, I'm going to put them all in, because I can have this tomorrow for lunch. Wow, that looks amazing. So colourful. This is the way you should eat. Really healthy. And that tofu is, because the pan's a cast iron pan, it's cooking still. So I'm just keeping it stirring. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to add some of the stock. I'll put all of it in. And if it's a bit thick, I can add a bit of water. So this is going to thicken up with the corn flour and make a lovely sauce. How are we doing for time? It's 10 minutes. I don't want it make it more than 15 minutes, because I do feel myself, I don't like to watch long videos. So that's roughly, I would say, practically ready. So we'll take this and we'll put in the tofu. I've forgotten how heavy this pan is. I've had this pan absolute years. It's one of those French pans. It's cast iron, really heavy. Whoa, really heavy. I'm going to turn this off now, and I'm just going to put in this oriental greens. Now this will make it really spicy. So I'm just going to literally put that in, and that will just wilt in. It will cook actually in the heat, because it's very, very tender. It's very, very lovely. So there we go. So I'll put it on a plate so you can see it. So this has got a bit of everything in. And then I'll put the noodles, few little noodles on the side. Not very good presentation. My chefy skills aren't very good. But then again, I'm not a chef, so there we go. So move that out of the way. So there you go. So there's stir fry with some nice spelt noodles and some tofu and oriental greens. So I'm going to have that now. I'm going to enjoy it. So thank you very much for joining me today. I'll be back on tomorrow. Don't know what we're doing tomorrow. I did put a plan together, but I forgot what we're doing. But anyway, I'm going to enjoy this now. So have a lovely rest of your evening, and I'll speak to you soon. Lots of love. See you soon. Bye-bye.